I wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and this is the last match of round 3 of the World Team Carcassonne Online Championship, a group F encounter between Brazil and France, which has a lot of implications for the tournament standings, but more about this later. The games are about to start in a minute or so, so a very quick preview. In this one, despite the fact that France is the reigning runner-up from the 2024 championship, Brazil, I think, has a slightly better chances. Rating-wise, Teo Gladiador, a master from the former Young Talent project from São Paulo, is going to be a slight favorite against Blitz, maybe 60% or so. On table 2, between Squalas, the runner-up of the National French Online Championships, and Gustavo Arruda, the hero of Episode 7 of the Carcassonne Move of the Week from the 2023 World Cup. Surely this would be a fun one to watch. On table 3, a slight advantage for Mijuto over Gassion. Got 9-7 looks. On table 5, pretty even toss-up between José Edson and Jalamax. And on table 4, this is the encounter which we're going to focus on. The by far highest rated player in France, one of the recognized best players in the world, the silver medalist of the 2024 Carcassonne Champions League, Vivian Charlot, with a screen name Viv, will be playing against the newest Brazilian master, Victor Besson, with a screen name Besson. And for me, it's also personally interesting because Besson happened to be the captain of my team, in which I play in the Brazil Team Championships of Carcassonne. More about this a little bit later. So we're going to start with these guys, and away we go. Best of 3, usual format, and so on and so on. So currently, Viv's rated 721. His peak is over 800, of course. He's expected to be the favorite here, but my hope is that he's going to underestimate my dear captain here, or that my captain is going to draw monasteries like this. So far, it looks a good position for the Brazilian player who has the black meeples. The French player with the red meeples still has yet to score. Now, the 10 points for black, they come definitely from this city. I can tell you all so much. And, yeah. I am not happy with what my captain is doing here. This is a massive mistake. It's a massive mistake. It's really not a good move at all. I'm not sure what Victor is thinking here. Maybe he's nervous. Okay, chance to correct it. But actually here this monastery makes sense. So of course, why am I so upset about this move? It was so much incomparably better to just go here for 8 points. Why go for 6 points when you can go for 8 points and pre-build an unblockable road through your city? But no, let's make our city blockable. And let's score fewer points for the monastery. So in all honesty, it's only like a 2-point mistake. But man, it's like such a good juicy spot here. And now it's blockable. That also is the problem. A regular monastery goes here to fully block this square, in which case black is going to score 3 points only here, and red on this side of the city is just going to score a lot more. Now maybe Besson didn't want to go over here in order not to expand the field, but it really doesn't matter because the field is going to expand that way regardless. Now, Viv has already committed 2 farmers, and he's going for an imbalanced type of approach, and there we go, a content move for Victor. Now, hoping for one of the 3 remaining horse tiles to go over here and overrun a big city. Besson with yet another monastery is going to be played here for 5 points, or here for 4 points. Just not caring about monastery safety. 5 points looks good. This actually makes sense to not go crazy on monastery stacking. Besson is about to finish a city. And there's a rather neat move available here. Instead of, yeah, this is also just fine. Finishing a city, starting a new one. Maybe even, again, dropping a farmer would be bad. Don't do that. But I was thinking also just leaving the city cap alone over here. Besson just finished the city. Don't drop a, oh man. I like, which part of don't drop a farmer you don't understand, man? Now, the reason why this is not a good move at all is because my dear captain is going to spend a time at a meeple disadvantage. And this is one of those moves that he's going to play instantly. And this is a problem because intuitively, of course, you want to finish a city and drop a farmer. But only if you have a sufficient number of resources. What is happening? Victor, wake up! It was going so well. Okay, now I can't understand Viv's moves either. Why is everybody ignoring this city cap? Why is Victor trying to expand Viv's field so much? Why is Viv not taking the city cap and obstructing his monastery? Both players maybe are a bit tired or something. But that's okay. All the more exciting content, the more unpredictable moves. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Yeah, so the reason why I don't like this farmer is because there is just no chance in the world how Besson is going to tie this field. And at least we had a chance to keep this farm small, and now it's going to be controlled with a 2 versus 1 minority. 2 versus 1 majority. But without this farmer, it would be 2 versus 0 majority, and we would have our farmer to do stuff, to do something else. Also, Besson just lost a meeple because Viv found this successful block. There's nothing that fits into this square. And now a position which looked fantastic for my Brazilian captain looks kind of equal. I mean, still 5 points extra on the scoreboard. Still, you know, these monasteries are going to score. And that's all kind of nice. But Viv now is going to go break our city, and then we're going to have some problems. I guess we still have a couple of tiles to free up our monastery here, but this is not one of them. Oh, but that's a fantastic tile. We can free up a road meeple. Now Viv is going to of course, have a longer road, but that's okay. We can still live with this. Besson with extra 10 points on the scoreboard. Alrighty, time to catch up with the chat. I'm going to be reading with the chat a little bit slower than normal because of some technical issues. Hi, Melvin. Hi, Ice Maze. Hi, Kirillo. Hi, Steve Herman. Hi, Glavier. Wait, my background is a bit... yeah. My background's a bit off. Everything's off. Just as the moves of my captain. Yeah, there we go. Okay, now we have some more stuff. Oh no, Mejuto didn't turn up! And table 3 goes to France without a fight. This is so devastating for Brazil. Ay. Anyway, I'll catch up with the game in a second. You all can see some points probably being scored for some features that how Carcassonne works. Oh man. I have clamps somewhere. Close enough. Alrighty. Whatevs. Okay, where are we? Oh, man. Calm down. Alright, let's go. So, Besson, who was in a completing winning position, now is not in a completing winning position, and for some reason is behind on the scoreboard. Clamps. No, I can't. I have to try again whilst Victor is thinking, which is a good thing. I am going to go and adjust my thing. Oh, also, he can actually... Wait, why? Oh, man. I don't get these moves. Why not just cover up your city? Look at this. There's a 50-50 chance of just filling in the square. Why not just cover up your city here, right? So check this out. 1, 2... 2 daggers on the table. 3rd dagger still out, so there's something that fits into this square. It was so important to cover up because whenever you go for a setup strategy, it is super important that you don't limit to just, so that you expand your pool of tiles as far as possible. So you see, black still has the triple city tile that's going to give him like 11 points or something. But then why not black just set up another emergency thing in case he gets himself the last dagger? And I'm recounting multiple times, and I'm definitely correct here. Yes, there is a dagger available. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. But still, all is not lost. We still have 2 monasteries, and the field of Viv is really small. Viv is trying to break this city here over Brazilian. Curvy tile for Besson. Viv is starting a secondary field for 6 points and potential future expansion. Viv gets more cities on the left. The block is unsuccessful. Ring Road also goes to Viv. Besson finds a complete block. That's a very nice find. Very quick find. There's nothing that fit into the square anymore, so that was useful. Viv at the same time takes 2 points and also draws the second out of our 3 horse tiles. Our setup is going to crash and burn, but not now. How about we cover up our city now? No, says Bisson. I'm not sure. Maybe there's some tiles at the bottom. No. Why does the Brazilian really not want to try and finish this city? Well, I guess this tile, it makes a little bit of sense. Okay. So city's getting finished. Meeple back. Leadership restored. And you see, the Brazilian captain is smart. So for some reason, for some messed up reason, he knew that he was not going to draw this dagger tile. And so there was no point in completing that city. Alrighty. It's 40-40. 2 monasteries and a ruin versus a lot of fields. Still a slight edge to the Brazilian, but unless Besson gets the critical horse tile for this square, then the French player is going to prevail here. Okay, let me try and correct the drapes one more time. Close enough. Okay, but that move does not make much sense to me. Let me think about this. Well, it makes some sense for defense, actually. It does take 1 point. No. There's some merit. And also, Bissona gets a meeple back from his monastery. Oh, it's going to be close. And Viv gets a meeple back from his road. The scoreboard, that sweet, sweet scoreboard leads go to the Brazilian. Plus 8 points for Besson. Viv is the first to deploy one of his 2 meeples. Probably going to go for a ring road or maybe just a 6-point farm somewhere here or here. Maybe here actually looks pretty strong, because then that secondary 6-point farm is somewhat restricted. And the French player is very fast at calculating. What options do we have as red? I was thinking that maybe we could set up the completion of this here city, but this city is completely blocked. So there is no chance to draw one of the 0 existing vanilla tiles to get the 9 points for this city. So probably some sort of farming move would be my guess. Hi, les étions. Yeah, Viv goes for the road. That's very interesting. And his plan is to drop a farmer upon completion of the road, which Besson should absolutely deny. The move for Victor should absolutely be here. Dropping a farmer, making sure that Viv, when Viv completes this road, he cannot drop a farmer. This at least seems to be the most intuitive idea. But there might be some other objectives on the board which I'm not seeing. Both players are playing really fast, and Besson does find what looks like the best move. And look at this. Viv finishes the road, but Viv cannot drop a farmer, which means that Besson can get 1 more farm here. He gets a dagger tile for some quick points. That's something. I guess he's thinking whether it's worth meepling the field regardless, but no, 4 points are 4 points are 4 points. Monastery for Viv goes for 6 points. Besson gets another quick point tile for 2 could score that in a variety of ways, maybe here or here or here. Or actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Never mind. I figured that maybe we could go here and try and get a curve and fight for the big field, because for some reason, if you remember earlier, black decided to burn a meeple there earlier. So we're going to have a 1 versus 2 disadvantage. But the 1 versus 2 disadvantage kind of gives us a chance to maybe turn this into a 2 versus 2 equality, but the field is just way too closed. Besson is going to need that critical tile. He's going to need that horse, which fits right here in the center. He takes quick points for the road. 33% chance for Viv drawing the horse in. Are you kidding me? Oh, man. So all 3 horses were drawn by the Frenchman for some quick points to rub it in. Also, the dagger was drawn by the Frenchman as well. And it has to be really frustrating if you are the Brazilian player here or a Brazilian fan. But you gotta take it. You gotta take it. Like, that's just part of the game. But you know what? I really don't think that black gets to complain about their tile draws. Sure, they didn't get this coin flip, and they didn't get these 3 critical tiles, which happens only once every 8 games. That's pretty rare. But then also black had multiple monasteries in succession, which was supposed to be game-winning. But it wasn't. Still 5 minutes to figure out an optimal move. Something like this makes the most sense to me. Just go here and score 5 points. But there could be something more complicated. Maybe there's a way to manufacture a 6-point field here. But then why would you do that? Yeah, 5 points and then a later addition of... Oh, are you kidding me? And we can't even use this tile. It's just to rub it in. To rub it in! So lost the final coin flip as well. Well, we do have a lot of monasteries and some ruins. I think that Viv has just a tad too much on field, though, doesn't he? Yeah? Actually, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. Oh, actually, I think I do know. Is there going to be 1 point? Wait, but 1 point for whom? Wait! Wait! Are you kidding me? Besson still wins by 1 point. What an absolutely wild game. What an absolutely wild game. And look at this. Despite not drawing any of the 3 tiles here or the dagger here, the newest Brazilian master manages to prevail. Wild game. Let's go straight into the second one. You should be seeing the match score somewhere on the board. And Besson, the starting player again, that certainly is statistically favorable. 6 versus 2 on the point. 6 versus 4 now as Viv catches up with quick points. Glovier is saying, I can relate to not getting the horses, referring to an earlier game today that was on stream. Well, at least you had 2 horses. Besson had 3. But of course, both arrangements are quite painful. Okay, this one looks better for the Frenchman. Way better for the Frenchman after this here move. And this here move. This sequence is just incredibly annoying to deal with. Like, incredibly annoying. Because this meeple quite often gets blocked there. And Viv is going to go here and try to block 2 meeples of Besson. So now I wonder, was it crazy from Besson's perspective to actually self-block and self-restrict towards one of the 3 dagger tiles just to keep this meeple here separate? Now, of course, he would have lost a meeple by doing so, but that was an option. A new city being started by Besson gets immediately broken. something that was to be anticipated, and well, this monastery actually somehow works. You see, unlike the last game, the board from the start is pretty closed, so it actually does make sense to forego a monastery, even though I wouldn't do that. Besson now starts a new city whilst also continuing his old one, pressuring the square just a tad and also preparing the completion of the city, but it's putting all his eggs in one basket, because if the square gets blocked, he'll not be able to develop the city as a ruin, but he gets the oh yeah, he needs the starting tile elsewhere. I was getting overexcited that he could get he used the starting tile as a defense tile. Yeah, this is actually quite a rough situation to be in if you're black. Oh, especially now, you gotta be kidding me. Viv is playing really well. He's mounting the pressure. So look, this move, it's playing against 2 squares of his opponent, and he's actually wait, what? And he's actually doing what? Yeah, trying to block this guy, trying to block this guy, trying to block this guy, trying to block this connection. That there's a lot of issues here, and that's why Besson just decides to calmly take a meeple back. Viv with a blocking tile and a mistake. This move cannot possibly be correct. So let me explain why in a second. This is why. Vivian just could have placed this tile over here to block a very important meeple of Besson, because he could have just finished the city this field a little bit later. That's a gross misprioritization, and now Besson gets himself another defended meeple, and we're completely equal on meeples. And now Besson is also threatening a big road. How tides have turned. How tides have turned. Do you hear this? Do you hear this? It's the sound of turning tides. The tides are turning. Vivian starts himself a larger ruin at the bottom, trying to block Besson, but Besson gets himself a dagger tile against all odds, protecting a very dangerous city. Wisely chooses not to meeple a new road. He has enough vulnerable meeples. Vivian has a chance to go for a content move here. Now, the normal move is just finishing a city and starting a new one, and he goes for the content move. So you see, he's now hoping for one of the 2 remaining cow tiles to finish a very large city. And what does Besson even do? I guess he has to go here and try and invade that city at least a little bit. Or he's going to try and draw one of the horse tiles that fit into this square. If Viv could do it to him, he can do it to Viv. Quick point tile for Besson. In the meantime, this road will become the sole property of 2 black meeples. Vivian trying to shield away from an invasion. Besson's going to finish the city, start a new one, or do the same thing over here. Yes, no Russian going crazy, creating the invasion platforms. Given black scoreboard lead, it is still possible. It's still not that hard for Besson to win, even if that big city gets completed, as long as it's completed not very soon. Curvy tile for black. A very important move to find it. He finds it, breaking the road of Viv. It was also possible to drop a farmer here, actually, but I can see why Besson wants to keep some maples here. Plus 16 on the scoreboard. Scoring tile available to finish a city here or here. Probably the top is slightly more preferable for spatial reasons. Then ideally we also would want to get something like an extender tile and drop a farmer here, so that when we get a straight line, we connect to the field already. The field of Viv is looking really good. Interesting. That's quite interesting, actually. So he chooses not to finish any city, but instead just invades, not allowing Viv easy points. That makes sense. Now finishes another one, gets some people back. Vivian finishes the road, starts a new city at the top. 16 points down. Besson goes for a farmer. A very wise farmer. He's going to equalize the field once he draws one of the 4 remaining straight lines that fit into the square. He draws them instantly. Just don't drop a 3-point farmer here. Greater advantage on the scoreboard. Viv goes for a 6-point monastery. Besson gets a scoring tile. There is a correct solution to this, but it's actually not obvious. So option 1, we go for the points at the top. We just scored 2 points over here. Option 2 was to go for this farmer. It is quite annoying to deal with. If you're Besson, and maybe just use the meeple majority to bully, and maybe like we go even here on the farmer, something crazy like this. Honestly, this farmer at the top is not crazy at all because the fields are going to merge in the end. Quite likely to merge in the end, and even if they don't, there are a lot of green squares for future development. Oh, how about we go here and triple down on the farms, getting complete control of everything agriculture related in this game. 19 points on the scoreboard, but we gotta remember that that points lead and meeple lead is going to evaporate once Vivian finishes the big city in the middle. He's thinking. He's thinking. Yeah, this is one of those positions where you don't meeple a monastery just because it's so open. Oh, there are only 2 curves remaining. That's a bit problematic. But maybe that's actually not that bad. Because look at this. So this guy over here at the bottom, he's trying to invade through here, right? Or through here. So he has multiple routes to the field. And in fact, this farm is really unavoidable. Or inevitable. But maybe by going here or something, we can just drop like an insurance farmer. Yeah, this move by Besson I don't actually like. Vivian, I'll explain that in a second a little bit, because it gives Viv an easy platform to just go here, finish the city, drop a farmer. And so now as Victor, we have to do something like this. We have to delay the connection to our farm because this is not the priority. Now that we're 9 points down on the scoreboard and Viv has the monastery here, the path to victory is the farm. And Viv, don't like this. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. But there were stronger things to do because... Fine, we can deal with this. Viv goes for a 6-point field at the bottom, and Besson now needs to find his only move, really. We cannot allow the Frenchman to finish the city at the top, and Besson knows this. And now when he finishes the city at the top, he's going to drop yet another farmer for insurance. And the field is big enough to outrun the scoreboard. I think. Oh. 8 minutes on the clock is plenty to solve this position. If not solve, but every move really requires a lot of positional consideration. Really, every move requires a lot of pressure. Really strong vision of the board. And Vivian is now going to drop another farmer. The move that the Frenchman's going to make is here. First of all, 6 points are 6 points are 6 points. And there's still 2 curves to fit into that square. And also create a 6-point loop. And try to not even equalize, but even outrun. Overrun, rather, the field of Besson. One rare moment where Viv is in the time bank. Thank you for correcting me that there's only 1 curve. Oh, yes, of course. Viv used the penultimate curve at the bottom. Still probably worth dropping a farmer, I don't know. He does not do it. That's a very interesting move. Instead, he kind of tries to block up Besson's farmer a little bit, and that makes sense. Vivian now gets a fantastic monastery tile, which obviously gonna go where it belongs. Yeah, exactly. 5 points also controlling Besson's city, who is now getting a road monastery. Well, that has to be good, right? Right? At the very least, we can disallow Viv finishing a city and take 2 points. Scoring tile for Viv, 3 points, also setting up an even larger ruin if somebody draws the last extender. Curved tile for Besson, who uses it. Oh, actually, that makes sense, yeah. That makes total sense. Yeah, because you don't... Well, I mean, it required thinking, right? Because he does connect to the field. But will the field be big enough? So maybe Besson's winning idea was actually to go here and then even meeple this road and then try to bring in a third farmer. But maybe not, maybe not. But you know what? Vivian could still fight for the field like this. It's just a question whether he chooses to do so. Because it seems to me that there are some fieldless win conditions possible for the Frenchman. First of all, he has 2 monasteries. Second, he has the scoreboard advantage. Third, he has a secondary field for 6 points. It kind of seems like it's good enough to win without the field. And yeah, he goes for it. He goes for the big ruin. It's also possible to extend over here. Yeah, very, very precise play by the Frenchman. It's not looking good for Brazil in this one. Both teams really need this victory for the tournament standings. Besson with a Dorito tile, probably looking to extend his city a little bit, or maybe block the Monastery of Viv at the top. Maybe there's a way how we could prevent the recovery of this red meeple. Does not appear to be the case. Yeah, there's no way we can block anything. So there's 1 regular vanilla city cap remaining. And regardless of how we turn the tile... Well, actually, but if Viv gets the vanilla tile, he's going to go here anyway. Besson... making an interesting move. He's making a 0-point move instead of a 1-point move. I would have done this if I were him. But I don't know. But maybe the plan here is to finish this city and drop a farmer. And this is still the plan. But still, no, like, what is Victor doing, man? You can't make a move like this instantly. Like, you have 6 minutes on the clock and there are 4 tiles remaining. You have to solve the endgame exhaustively. I have a feeling that this could be a miss of something. I'm not sure. Besson has the meeple, and it's tempting for Viv to make this 5-point move, but maybe there's something better. And you see, the Frenchman knows when to use his time, and instead he uses it for blocking. That's why this move by Besson was a mistake. It was better to use this tile at the top so that he'd have 2 threats with this vanilla city cap, which we needed to draw for the win in any case. Well, at the very least, what we did do, we made sure that a 5-point move for Viv over here turned into just a 1-point move, but it's not enough of a benefit. Because now Besson just doesn't have a good option for the city cap at all. And now he's thinking when it's a tad too late. Time management is a big part of competitive mind sports. So, wait, yeah, Victor must have miscounted a little bit. I think, thinking that there's a Dorito or something. Yeah. Well, let's see. How is this one going to turn out? Vivian has just so many incompleted features. Minus 20, yeah. Let me think about this. I don't think there's really all that much that Besson could have done. Well, actually, no, wait a second. There is a bit. So let's say if we make that move. I mean, we're not making up 20 points, but I'm pretty sure that was a more optimal endgame. So make that move for the same number of points. Then Viv goes here to score 4 more. And then we finish either of the cities. So if we do that one, we score 11 more. 11 is a lot instead of 2, so that's 9 more. Plus 5. Maybe like 5-6 points is what Besson could have achieved. Yeah, so that was a rather hopeless situation. But you see, and I know how it must be feeling. So in the first game, when Victor tried to go for a city which required one of the 3 remaining horse tiles, he got 0. And when Viv tried for one of the remaining 2 horse tiles, he got both of them. So it could feel very unfair, but such is the game. And Viv did control the endgame scenario very nicely, and he did find that opportunity to come back. So this is the decider now between these 2 players. And Besson is the starting player now. Viv catches up on the scoreboard a little bit. Besson still ahead. And the first mana share of the game comes in an extremely volatile spot for 5 points, setting up another 9-pointer over here and creating a gigantic field. Viv goes for a 4-point mana share to sort of kind of equalize. Besson successfully blocks 2 meeples of Viv. It's going to be huge. It's going to mean so much for a board this open. On an open board, meeple matters so much, and there's nothing that fits into this square because the quadruple city tile has gone out. There are 2 red roads and only 1 black road, and the Brazilian is now ahead on the scoreboard, but Viv is the first on the farmer. Don't discount Viv. You see, he now tries to take a stronghold on the field with the meeple minority. And then later he's going to try to play the field geometry. And that's one way to win the positions like this. So you might have a field which you control with 2 meeples, but you try to keep it really tight. Maybe not develop it as much as you otherwise would have, but just deny your opponent field invasions. I don't think it's quite possible yet. Besson's going to finish a city, start a new one. He might also drop a farmer, which I'd recommend against. It feels a tad too early. I guess we just have to play the equity game. And you know what? Besson could still win with Viv controlling the farms if he gets all the monasteries. So a lot in the game will depend on this year critical tile. I knew he'd do that. Oh, that's Viv. Oh, that's Viv. Huh. That's interesting. That never works. I mean, that might work. I don't want to question the Frenchman because I have been wrong previously about some of his moves. But investing 3 farmers... really? I mean, this field does look like pretty important, so in that sense, it makes sense. Viv starting a new city. Besson is going to equalize it immediately? Yes, exactly. He knows that this is a priority. He's now going to build up his monastery a little bit. Probably still trying to go fieldless. Trying to keep Viv meepleless for as long as possible. His monastery is now pretty vulnerable. A Dorito tile could go over here, leaving almost no options for this here square. Actually, yeah, how does Vivian even get a meeple back? That's the disadvantage of dropping so many early farmers, but it's certainly a creative decision. No. I don't like this move strategically. So it's going to be the same thing as in the first game where you sort of poke at the field, you burn a meeple, but you don't truly fight for it. I could be proven wrong. And Besson does in fact have the resources to fight for the field. But I don't know, man. Like, it feels like just burning a meeple, really. Because where exactly are you going to find 2 more platforms to drop a farmer? Well, maybe you are. Maybe there's going to be a platform here somehow. Or maybe you're going to finish the shared city and drop a farmer here. In any case, it's a very committal decision. As Besson, I might have been tempted to still go fieldless, but I have lost games before in this assumption. Another point of this meeple, actually, it might be just to give him flexibility of win condition. Even though it burns a meeple, essentially, it makes sure that you might not have to the field. You still can win by drawing all the monasteries and stuff, especially the one that goes into this square. But if you really, really have to, then at least you have some sort of head start. So we can see that. Vivian trying to save his monastery. Besson with a tile with not much good use. Actually, there is a little bit of something. We could go here and apply pressure to this here square. This is exactly what happens. Viv finishes a shared city just to get a meeple back. This is a concession from the Frenchman. Besson, 8 points ahead on the scoreboard, 2 meeples, but not many scoring opportunities. A lot in this game is going to depend on who draws the monasteries over here. So Gassion and Mejuto are playing again. Elias is saying I would bet on going fieldless, so at least I get some confirmation from the chat. Yeah, because of stuff like this, you see, it's a decent move. It's a decent move. Don't get me wrong. It's a decent field invasion, but what's gonna happen is that Viv's gonna go here and he could block. No, Besson's gonna defend, and yet with another farmer. But if he's not gonna draw a farmer, I'm gonna lose it. He's thinking. Thank goodness. So many players forget to drop a farmer in this position, and now Besson has basically equalized the field, and it turns to be a much more balanced position. But you know what? This game's still going to depend on who draws the monasteries. So Red connects his farmer. Besson gets a straight line, which is absolutely lovely. Viv going to get the curve and take the 6 points. Still a worthwhile endeavor. Lots of threats in this position. Besson still ahead on the scoreboard. Now, monastery tile for Besson. Does he drop a last meeple on the farm? I hope not. I hope he does not accidentally finish Viv's monastery. The vulnerable 2-point meeple is still technically alive at the bottom. Let me just show this. So there's one tile. One tile that goes here still, and okay, that's a great tile for Besson for 9 points. He's gonna lose his meeple at the bottom, but this does so much for the scoreboard. Vivian successfully blocks the meeple. Besson with a city tile here, and you know what? This game is going to be a game of chicken. So there's a big field with 3 meeples per side, 3 black, 3 red. And the field is absolutely game decisive because once you've invested 3 farmers, there's no coming back. But because both players have only 1 meeple, and they're likely to have only 1 meeple until the end of the game, or at most 2 meeples, but really only 1, then it's a game of chicken. The way this works is whoever drops a farmer first loses. Because then the other party just keeps scoring quick points and then catches up on the scoreboard and then drops the farmer at the last moment. I absolutely detest playing positions like this because they're so unbelievably high variance. Okay, now will Besson find his best move? He needs to protect the monastery. He needs to get himself the 1 point. It's a curve of strategic significance, and yes, he finds it just as V was going to finish his monastery with another monastery. This was denying 9 points to the Frenchman, and with that, Besson is ahead 9 points on the scoreboard. He has 4 points on blocked meeples, and Viv has 6 points on blocked meeples. So Besson is 7 points ahead overall, which actually is a really significant advantage when you're playing with 1 meeple per side, with 20 tiles remaining, 1 meeple per side until the end of the game. So the way this works is they're going to be quick points scored. They're going to be these strategic maneuvers kind of trying to shape the board. I don't like what Besson did his last move. If I were the Brazilian, every move that I try to make, I try to close off as many field connections as possible. Because I'm in the lead, I don't have to win the field, I only have to tie for it. On the other hand, there might be a good opportunity at some point for either side to drop their last meeple, and if they manage to connect into the field, then it's going to be very difficult for the other side to reconnect. Okay. This road is very interesting. It is kind of bait. So it is tempting for Besson to go for it and try score 6 points. And I'd do that. I'd actually do that right now. But then, if your last meeple gets blocked, that's a doozy. There's still 4 crossroads remaining, so I shouldn't be afraid of a meeple blocked anytime soon. But from Besson's perspective, you've got to ask yourself, how much are these 6 points from the road going to contribute to my win probability? And the answer is maybe a little bit, because 7 points is a nice lead, but this is not enough of a buffer to feel secure. Just a sequence of a couple of crossroads or a couple of city caps could put Viv back in the lead. But if you are to finish this 6-point road, and then you get a meeple back, then you are 13 points ahead, and 13 is definitely insurmountable without a field attack. So this road might have been strategically significant. I still understand Viv not wanting to use his last meeple, but you know what? There are no curves remaining. They're only crossroads. So in that sense, yeah, would have worked. Would have totally worked. Would have totally worked. Oh man, a mistake here from Besson. He could have blocked that city cap, and now he's only 3 points ahead. I feel like Viv is going to just out-strategize him. At least some quick points for Besson as well. Taking 2 points for a road. Ahead +5 overall. These games are nerve-wracking. But it's also interesting, how exactly do you score these 2 points? Brazil is currently ahead 2 versus 1. How did that work? While Edson won against Jalamax, and on table 1, predictably Teos won against Blitz. So this could be the decider for the entire match. Because we don't know exactly what's going to be the adjudication for the events on table 1. On table 3, rather. Because, you know, if Majuto didn't show up, he didn't show up. If there was agreement prior to reschedule the duel, that's a different matter. But I feel like the organizer is going to be strict with this one and adjudicate the duel in Gassion's favor. So this is it. This is for the match. Vivian is now thinking about dropping a farmer. Well, he's thinking about it. Doesn't mean that he should do it. But the reason why a farmer is appealing here, he goes for it. He goes for it. And Besson, I think he has a winning move. He has a winning move. He has to find it. It's a very difficult spot. It is not that one. So they're both trying to invade the field. Besson's going to try and block. They both need the same straight line. There are multiple straight lines in a crossroads. Viv gets the crossroads. Does Besson get the straight line? And this was not the move that I had in mind. The move that I had in mind was actually going here and trying to farm like this. Another straight line town for Viv. He's going to try and block. Besson needs a straight line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, only one of those remaining. Oh, lordy. Well, he can protect himself. He can go for the 50-50, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, man. It's going to be 50-50 for the entire game, isn't it? Neither player can score, and it's going to be just waiting for that straight line. This is how these positions are played. Yes, recounting again. There is a straight line available. There isn't a starting tile. There isn't a crossroads. It's just a straight line. It's just a straight line. Straight line for the game. Who gets it? It really doesn't matter. Like, any other moves that are played make no difference whatsoever. I haven't seen anything like this in a long time. A straight line goes to Bisson. Brazil is going to win this match on a 50-50. Equal field for 4 meeples versus 4, but Bisson has a little bit more, just a little bit more on the scoreboard, and +5 is the victory for the Brazilian and for Team Brazil. What an absolute incredible match. What a bonkers game. First of all, Viv getting blocked and tripling down on the farmers. Then Bisson decided to go for the triple field attack, equalized, got the coin flip for the 9-point monastery, pulled him ahead on the scoreboard, and managed to win the final coin flip for the straight line. Are you kidding me? Oh, I haven't seen such a match in such a long time. Unbelievable. Well, anyway, congratulations to Piratas de Carcassonne, which is the team which Bisson and I am representing in the Brazilian Team Carcassonne Championships. And for Vivian, certainly very well played, and such a great plan with this early field control, and pulled the trigger on the invasion, I think at the right moment. I think it was at the right moment that you want to do stuff like this. And then Bisson with the re-invasion over here. Wild. Absolutely wild game. Righty, time to catch up on the chat a little bit and catch my breath. Now, the adjudication on table 3 doesn't matter anymore. Hi, Vinny. Hi, Jose. Yes. Ooh. Not that easy indeed, Melvin. Not that easy. Right, let's have a look if there is some more Carcassonne to watch, because I think I just need to have a breather. What a just absolute incredible game. So 3-1 for Brazil at the very least. And Mejuto is playing against Gassion for the tiebreakers. Oh wait, I forgot to turn the light on. Yeah, that should be a little bit better. Regardless whether that duel is going to count, I'm going to assume not. So what's happening now is Mejuto won the first one, and Gassion is trying to come back in the second one. So, well, this one is looking very good for France and for fans of Carcassonne. 30 points ahead of the scoreboard. Finishing this ginormous 18-point city and dropping yet another farmer. Oh, dear lordy. Poor Fernando. This is going to be obscene. But, you know, I think France just needs, after that final duel, like, France needs just a little bit of love here. A little bit of love from the tile deck. What an absolutely wild duel. So, Mejuto now is trying to make up a deficit of 50 points. And the deficit on the farm, yeah, that makes sense. Trying to start a new city for 4 points is certainly going to do it. He only needs to do it 12.5 times. And there we go. 50-point deficit is gone. Can you even build 12.5 cities? No, you can't, because they're literally... Oh, no, there are. I think you can build a maximum of, what was it? 17 cities in Carcassonne or something like this. There has been a challenge on about this on my channel some time ago. Anyway, I'm not going to just comment hard in this game, so obviously Gassion is going to win this, and I think what Mijuto should do here is just save some brain power. How do you even get a 50-point advantage? Well, let's try and conjecture that these monasteries could have done something with this. Well, obviously this city we've just seen. Maybe this city. This splitter looks suspiciously splitty. It almost looked like it was a city of blue, and then red tried to invade and blue immediately split up, preserving himself the larger chunk of the city. That seems what happened here. And this is why the splitter is statistically the second most useful or the second most impactful tile in Carcassonne. And the last game is why the Road Monastery is the most useful tile in Carcassonne, statistically. Mijuto now with the cow tile, trying to maybe add a point to his city. Also, would be very nice to receive clarification in the chat if anybody knows. So what's the reason for the delay of this particular duel? And if the score here is going to count. In the meantime, if you're enjoying any of this, make sure to meeple the like button for the algorithm. That's pretty important and impactful. And in case you're here for the first time, make sure to subscribe for more competitive Carcassonne content like this. And in case you like it very, very, very much, you can also support this channel by sending a super thanks. I'm not sure what else to talk about. Well, Mijuto's fighting, to his credit actually. Inexplicably, I think he's going to manage to maintain field control. And he is now doing what? Yeah, so the plan for red here is just to try and find the right timing to overtake a field, and that's a kind of neat move by Gassion. Trying to invade at least one of the fields. But I guess Mijuto could go for that monastery, though. And then the plan for Mijuto is maybe we place a monastery here, and we unify all the fields, even though it's not ideal. Maybe blue invades, but then we just green invade over here. We have to spend our good 9-point farmer to do that, but it appears something to be worthwhile. Yeah, and then we're going to be ahead, what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I mean, it's a 21-point field. It's actually something. Yeah, that's why a 7-point monastery has been placed, which was also the last monastery in the deck, which means that this 3-point farmer is not going to connect to the field. Honestly, that really was an amazing blocking sequence from the Brazilian. Like, the way these blue farmers were dropped, they looked inevitable. But they've remained small holders at just 3 points. But another wise move from Gassion, trying to prevent the invasion from the topmost farmer. And so the field is likely to remain tied. Still, Mijuto's going to have more field points. Wait! Isn't there a chance for Gassion to, like, draw a curve? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No. I was thinking that maybe there was an idea of doing something like this and overrunning this field, but no. And if you were to get a straight line, which I'm not even sure even exists, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think there is one, then he'll be invading just the bottom field, really. So both players exchanged their highest scoring endgames. Mijuto missing 1 point, maybe forgetting that it was the end of the game. Let's see what has been said in the chat. Gigi says Mijuto, who is always a good sport. And we congratulate Gassion and Team France for staying alive, at least for the tiebreakers. Well played, says Gassion, but sometimes well played is not enough. And it was nowhere near enough in this game, as Mijuto is going to lose this with nearly 30 points. And we're headed to a decider. Ooh. Okay, caught a breath. 23-point difference, 146 points. This might be the record this week for curiosities. I definitely haven't seen games this high scoring on stream. And there we go. Wait, why are they abandoning? But why are they abandoning? I don't get this. Because Mijuto won the first one, and Gassion won the second one. Why are they abandoning the third one? Why would they do that? If anybody knows the situation, please explain that to me. Are they going to set up like another? I don't get any of that. Maybe Mijuto's just accepting his technical defeat, but it doesn't make any sense to me already. So please, anybody from Brazil in the chat, do explain me what's going on, because on that depends whether they're going to wait for the final game or not. Oh, Ice Maze is saying the first game was lost because Mijuto didn't turn up, but this is not how the rules work. According to the rules, Mijuto is losing the entire duel 2-0, not 2-1, because Mijuto didn't turn up. And regardless of the fact how nice the French are, it's not going to count. So either Mijuto didn't show up, in which case these games shouldn't have happened, and they only count for fun or whatever. But then if you're going to play for fun, why not go for 3 games? But then if Mijuto did show up, and then whatever happened, there was like a reschedule in advance, well, then they should play the third one still. And so I think it's a case of the team not knowing the rules, and I'm pretty sure what the rules are in this case. They're extremely strict about time this year. So do let me know if anybody has an alternative explanation. In the meantime, I guess what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna see if the players apparently are not planning to play anymore. So we're gonna adjudicate that duel to Gassion's favor regardless. And I gotta take a breath. Just in case, what I want to do, I want to have a look at the tournament situation a little bit, and because we have something to talk about. And then if the players are still not playing, so that they're extra sure that we're not missing any Carcassonne, then we're going to move to the final parts of the stream. So Group F, with a score of probably 3-2, Brazil is going to win this, and they are putting themselves for an excellent chance to qualify for the playoffs. So Spain and Vietnam have already registered their result. Miraculously, Spain is somehow in the first place in the group with a good tiebreaker, but surely this shouldn't really work like this. So, well, obviously Spain played 3 matches, unlike most teams. France played 2, and it's 1 victory for them. And their tiebreaker is going to be 5-5, right? So slightly behind Spain at the moment. Brazil, with 2 victories in 3 matches, jumps in sole lead, but France, Argentina, and Vietnam all have an extra match to play. Now I'm trying to remember, who is Brazil? What's going to be Brazil's last match? Because it seems that they're pretty close to guaranteeing themselves. Well, not guaranteeing, but putting them into a good position for qualifying for the playoffs. Let me just double check with the calendar real quick. So next week is... Yeah, next week Brazil is resting. My Vietnam is playing against France. Absolutely must win for both teams. Really, whoever loses this one gets eliminated. And Argentina, Spain, with pretty much similar conditions. And then finally Brazil versus Vietnam and France versus Argentina. Yeah, just equally decisive games. So nothing is clear. There are no teams in this group who have managed to avoid a loss, which will mean that tiebreakers are going to be important. That's all that I can say. Right, so let's just double check if Mijuto's playing. I don't think they would if we understand the situation correctly, but you never know. Yeah, they're not playing, so everybody misunderstanding the rules. Okay, time to catch up with the chat. Thank you for the kind words. Alrighty. Now time to congratulate the winning team. Let me just check my setup real quick. Wait, which one was this? This one? Not this one. I think it was this one. Yeah, there we go. Let's just check if it's still working. I know it does require a bit of a reset, but we're going to be quick with that. Alrighty. Yeah, I think we should be good. Oh. Alrighty. Now, of course, to congratulate Brazil on winning this, the plan is that I'm going to play the real Brazilian anthem again. This time a bit longer and a fuller version, and hopefully a bit better quality. And the plan is to improve the piano playing every week for every subsequent win of Brazil, and to do the same for France or any other team that wins. So yeah, all rise for the real anthem of Brazil. Congratulations again to Team Brazil. And yeah, that's really going to be it for today. So let's just discuss real quick. Let me just get that out. Oh, it did stop. Well, whatevs. Let's discuss real quick plans for next week. And I think there's really nothing much in the calendar just yet. So the teams have been quite hesitant for scheduling their future matches. But it is to be expected that it's going to be mostly in the weekend again. For Latvia, it is going to be a break, so I'll have a bit more time to stream there than to play myself. But yeah, none of the matches have really been scheduled so far, so we're going to see what next week brings to us. Okay. Okay, agreed, Victor. For the next for the next Brazilian victory, I can do Claudinho and Bochecha, which also happens to be actually a bit easier to play than this. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Anyway, subscribe to the channel and stuff. Do remember all these good things, and until next week, thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.